Hey, welcome to chapter 12 of World's Longest Suicide Note. I am your host. My name is Roger. And while I may be suicidal, I am in no way a mental health provider or specialist or professional or any other adjectives that would ascribe ability or confidence in that area. So, as long as we have that, we're good to go. We have that understanding. So let's get right into it. What are we talking about today? Well, today we are going to talk about happiness. The big H, the big happy. Um, and really happiness as it relates to severe mental illness. And so I don't ascribe to know what happiness means to any other person outside of my skeleton, because it's a very personal thing. I've been to Disney World, and there's people there that are not happy. Yeah, and a lot of them are kids, and they're crying. So because their $28 balloon, just they let go of it and it went away, and mom and dad won't buy them another one, or they dropped their funnel cake, and now since it was $52, mom and dad won't buy them another one. Stuff like that. So yeah, happiness, and it's definitely something that, when you think of, if you just think of the word happiness, everyone has an image. A lot of times for people dealing with mental illness, there's a huge amount of pressure put on that word to be happiness, because we are just like anyone else. We want to be happy. We want to experience that emotion, and we want to be a part of that. We really want our lives to not be about depression and anxiety and all those dark thoughts. But again, you can't experience both of those. You can't be super depressed and happy at the same time. But I think it's important to understand that happiness is not a state of being. Uh, it's not something that you can live in. It's a momentary thing that happens. So when people say, oh, my life is, so happy all the time, happy, they're not talking that they're constantly in that state of emotion where they're feeling happy all the time. It's really about satisfaction, and that they feel like their lives have a high degree of satisfaction, and that makes them feel good. That makes them satisfied about where they're at, if that makes sense. And so, even while those of us with mental illness, we deal with a lot of very hard things, that does not preclude us from feeling happiness. Now, when we're in our fight, when we're in our deep struggle, it's elusive, for sure. Again, because it's really hard to swing. It's about finding equilibrium, then finding these other types of emotions and putting yourself in a position to experience things that you enjoy. But when we're in our, when the darkness has us, yeah, there's no happiness there. And the problem is that everything now is about happiness. We like to portray to everybody that how our lives are filled with joy and happiness, and look at us, check out our socials. and the posts on the gram and the Facebook and whatnot. And oh yeah, obviously we live an incredibly happy life. Anyway, so there's a lot of it that's not real. It's image, and again, I get image. I get it. I lived a fake life for years, and of course, I always say this, and eventually it's going to be true. Is that we're going to talk about that? We'll have a talk about image at some point. Because that's a big thing, that's a big thing for folks in this world, in the world of mental illness is, because it doesn't matter that we're dealing with things. I mean, we want to be happy. We want that stuff for us and for our families. But it's just, and that puts a lot of pressure. I mean, when you were a kid and you were at the county fair and you didn't get the foot-long corn dog, and your mom or your dad said, if you don't put a smile on that face right now, we're going home, or I'm going to take down your pants and stripe your backside, or whatever. We've been given ultimatums like, get happy or you're in trouble. And so, but it's not, so you kind of plaster it on your face and like, hey, thumbs up, and you move forward. Are you happy? No. I mean, will you get happy at some point? Sure, depending on your attention span and really, if you win a stuffed animal with the little ring toss, it's fucking impossible to actually. Anyway. Coffee. It's good. Happiness. Yeah. So we put pressure on ourselves. And really what I would like to say, and what I would, if I had any influence whatsoever and somebody asked me, do not ever try to be happy. That's a fool's errand. You're going to end up faking it or something where it's not going to be real. You're going to try to force it, and it's not going to feel real. And it's not going to be something that is going to make your experience any better. If anything else, it's going to make it far more stressful and anxiety ridden, because you put expectations that aren't really possible. So anyway, but what you can do is work on satisfaction. Work on that satisfaction piece. What in your life are you proud of? What brings you joy? What adds to your experience? And really knowing that is also what doesn't. But to increase your level of happiness, it really, and if that's something that you want to work on and that you want to improve, then it's all about increasing your satisfaction with your life. If you are not in a place, if you so for me, I found myself unhappy. As I said before, I was at I had a food addiction, and I found myself very, very overweight. And this is, I'm going to say some things, and I don't want anyone to think that I demonize someone that's overweight at all. Not at all. I just was not happy. I was not satisfied with where I was at. My joints hurt. I couldn't. My activity level was diminished, and I couldn't go on hikes. I couldn't go kayaking. I mean, the kayak, I couldn't afford one that had a bigger weight limit over three. The most, the cheaper the kayaks were like, the weight limit was 350 pounds, and I was 330. So honestly, unless I was naked, the kayak was like, as far as buoyancy, it was riding lower and lower in the water. And so I had to make sure I had to go to the bathroom before I went kayaking, or else it may not have worked. Anyway, but I found myself in this place, and I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy, but I wasn't satisfied with where I was at and how I was. And so I said, okay, we're gonna change things, and I did work on that for a long time, and was able to increase my fitness and my energy levels, which made my satisfaction as far as that aspect increase, which is, that's what it is. And then what else, what other places are you not satisfied, as far as where you're at? And then it's just a question of making changes to those and empowering yourself to make those changes to increase your level of satisfaction. Now, granted, something that would be the best, and I've tried to do, but, I try to get rid of my mental illness. I'm not satisfied being, depressed every day. And, there's some things you can't really do. You could go towards a direction. I don't like my mental illness. Just like if someone says, I don't like having diabetes. And if they were born with it, what are you going to do? There's some things that you can't change. You can't change. So the question is, how do I build in satisfaction to the fact that, okay, this is just part of who I am. And so then you have to be mindful about it. You have to think, what aspects of this are the most onerous? Where can I make improvements in my daily activities in life that would increase my level of satisfaction, knowing that it may never get to the level of happiness, but if we can mitigate some of those negative feelings, it would overall increase your level of satisfaction. So we're not talking about like taking it to 11. We're talking about making small changes over time that improve your level of satisfaction. And so that's another thing. It's time. It takes time. And so while happiness is a momentary situation, that we're all this apex of what we're trying to reach, even when we get there, it only lasts a little bit of time. But if we build satisfaction, then it's there forever. We know that we have a quality of life that we've created for ourselves, and even when we're not feeling good, it's there for us. But it does take a lot of effort. So I have been a very happy person from time to time. And as of now, I have a good level of satisfaction with my life and where I'm at. And really one of the things that gives me the most satisfaction is that I'm continually working towards improving it even more. So the idea that there'll come a time where I won't have to do that is not even on my radar. I'm just going to wake up and I'm going to work hard. And through that work, I hope that my I continue to build that level of satisfaction up to a place where now I feel like that it just helps on the really dark side. It doesn't, it puts me in a place where I can enjoy things more, but it doesn't in and of itself provide happiness. That's for those moments in life when those special moments in life that that's what they are. They're special moments. So don't get wrapped up thinking that you have to be on a cover of a magazine or putting out a post that people that inspires jealousy or envy because it's so perfect. Oh, I'm in this perfect place with this perfect person. Oh, look how happy we are. I mean, half the time people want to throw up in their mouths when they see that stuff. So that's not important, okay? What's important is fighting for satisfaction in your own life. Yeah. All right. Good enough. And again, this is one of those topics that we'll be talking about off and on as it goes, because everything's tied together in this thing, because this is our existence, and there's nothing that just is a standalone. This sits alone over here. It all impacts us, where we are and who we are. So with that, I'm gonna let you go. Have an amazing day, and we'll see you around for chapter 13. Take care.